Caleb is a shy guy who works as a programmer for Blue Book, the world's largest IT company, which owns a search engine akin to Google. The company is headed by a young genius, who wrote the Blue Book base code at the age of 13. He's a Mozart of programming. The company employees were given a draw with the main prize, being a week's leave in a remote mountain shelter of the company's owner. All work fellows congratulate Caleb on winning the prize, and some even ask him to take them along. The billionaire's possessions stretch hundreds of miles. A helicopter lands Caleb at a chic mansion in the middle of nowhere. He meets Nathan, the company founder. Caleb is surprised to know that there's no one else on the estate but him and Nathan. The billionaire turns out to lead a reclusive lifestyle, being lost in his work. Nathan's mansion is a mix of a lab and a dwelling. Each room is equipped with an electronic lock, all windows are bulletproof. Caleb gets a pass that opens only those rooms he is allowed to enter. Nathan provides him with a room located in the basement of the mansion, saying that the lack of windows is for security measures, as it is not just a country house, but a real scientific center. He offers Caleb to sign a contract, obliging him to keep all information completely confidential, from all the possible media. Caleb signs the document. Nathan confides that the prize is a way more than just a vacation in his domain. Caleb has got the opportunity to become the world's first tester of an AI, developed by Nathan. He has to run a Turing test, which means that he will have to communicate with the computer for a while, and if in the process of the interaction, he does not realize that his interlocutor is a computer, the test will be deemed passed, which will be indicative of the computer's artificial intelligence. Like any programmer who adores his job, Caleb is thrilled to be the first to have a hand in a sentient machine. The time of the first session comes. Caleb enters the room, and turns out to be fenced off from the interior with armored glass. He notices a crack in the glass. Then a female-faced robot appears in the room. She meets Caleb. The robot calls herself Ava. Caleb is amazed at what he sees, and looks at her as a test object. She's nothing but a machine to him. He uses idioms to test Ava's speech skills. She appears to be a brilliant speaker who understands metaphors. Nathan watches them communicating from his room. At the end of the session, Ava asks Caleb a question.
Will you come back tomorrow, Caleb?
Caleb shares his experience with Nathan. He calls the conversation with Ava a travel through the looking glass. He's excited about Nathan's work. Then Caleb notes that in the Turing test, the computer shall be hidden from a human. Nathan replies that it is not relevant in their case, as if he had hidden Ava, Caleb would have never guessed that she is not a human. Caleb tries to figure out her algorithms. Nathan asks him to think beyond the analytics and tell him his general opinion about her.
She's fucking amazing.
At night, unable to fall asleep, Caleb turns on the TV, but instead of the common TV channels, he sees images from the security cameras located in Ava's room. At this point, a power failure happens. Having only emergency lighting, Caleb tries to leave his room, but all doors appear to be locked until the main generator restarts. He goes into panic mode. After a few seconds, the generator starts, and Caleb may get out of the room. In the middle of the night, he sneaks out and opens the door to Nathan's room. Caleb calls Nathan.
Hello?
But no one answers. He comes up to the only phone in the house and puts his badge to make a call.
You don't have access to use the phone.
Nathan can't sleep either. He feels like the Moon Knight. He says that communication with the outside world is completely forbidden. Then he reassures Caleb that locking the doors during power failures is a security measure, otherwise, anyone could enter the facility simply by de-energizing the building. In the morning, a silent girl named Kyoko serves breakfast to Caleb. In the second session, Ava shows Caleb an abstract geometric pattern she has drawn herself. Caleb has no idea what it means, and suggests her to draw something more specific next time, like an object. Ava asks him to tell what he wants her to draw. Caleb says that it's her decision, and he's interested to see what she will choose. Then the robot asks if Caleb will be her friend. As ever, a shy guy deprived of feminine attention, agrees to friendship without any hesitation. Ava immediately takes advantage of this, and starts to explore his feelings of guilt, by saying that their conversations are one-sided, and that he tests her with circumspect questions, trying to learn more and more about her. Conversely, Ava has not learned anything about Caleb during the entire conversation. She declares that friendship may not be built on such a basis. Caleb appears to no longer occupy a dominant position in the conversation. He is confused and embarrassed, not knowing where to start. He asks Ava what she wants to know about him. The robot answers Caleb using the phrase he told her regarding her drawing.
It's your decision. I'm interested to see what you'll choose.
Caleb tells about himself, his work and his daily routine. Ava wants to know if he has a girlfriend. He gives his negative answer. But he does it as if he's talking to a real girl. In the course of the dialogue, Ava asks if Nathan is his friend. Caleb delays his reply, trying to explain the difference between a close friend and a buddy. At this moment, another power failure occurs. Ava tells Caleb in an intense tone that Nathan is not his friend, and that he shouldn't believe a word he says. The young man gets scared. The power is restored, and at this moment Ava, just like the radio switch to another wave, keeps on the interrupted dialogue in a friendly tone. Caleb is appalled by the robot's performance. Kyoko sets the dinner table and spills a glass of wine. Nathan gets mad at her, and says that her not knowing the language is really great, as he can discuss any company secrets in her presence. Nathan asks Caleb about the conversation with Ava. Caleb feels tense after Ava's words. He gives a crumpled explanation, that she is aware of her intelligence, being able to joke and reason. Nathan asks what she was doing during the power failure, as at that point all the microphones and cameras were turned off. Caleb asks to repeat the question, and makes big pauses being thoughtful of which side to take. But then he says that nothing special happened, and Ava behaved in a usual way. Caleb's hiding her words from Nathan indicates that he has decided to take Ava's side. Caleb begins to get stuck on Ava. He watches her through the TV screen all the time. Ava keeps on glancing at the camera, as if realizing that he has his eyes glued to her. In the morning, Nathan takes Caleb to the lab, where he created Ava. He says that he has trained her through the use of people's smartphones, by giving her access to all the cameras and microphones of absolutely every device. He has run the data through Blue Book, to give Ava an unlimited source of verbal and mimic communication. Ava's brain is made of a structural gel, capable of reorganizing itself at the molecular level, which gives it an advantage over conventional chips. In the third session, Ava shows Caleb her new drawing. Following his request, she has drawn something specific, a tree from her room. He asks her if she's ever left her room. Ava says that she's never left the premises. Has she had the chance, she'd go to the traffic interchange. Her choice surprises Caleb. Ava says they could go there together. It sounds like a date for the guy. Ava asks him to close his eyes as she wants to show him something. She puts a dress, stockings, and a wig on. She approaches Caleb and says that she would go on a date being dressed like this. Once and for all, Caleb turned from an inquisitive programmer to a shy guy, face to face with a beautiful girl. Having scanned his micro-expressions, Ava says that she sees his favor to her. She takes complete control of the guy by asking him embarrassing questions.
Do you think about me when we aren't together? Sometimes at night. I'm wondering if you're watching me on the cameras, and I hope you are.
Mesmerizingly, Caleb watches Ava undressing. Ava seems to be doing it for a show, as she clearly realizes that Caleb cares about her. In the morning, Caleb asks Nathan why he equipped Ava with sex characteristics. Nathan answers that it is necessary for her self-awareness. And one shouldn't deprive her of her sex life. Nathan tells Caleb that Ava is capable of physical intimacy, because she has a complete imitation of all the organs, with an abundance of sensors that can give pleasure to her. But Caleb wants to find out if Nathan has programmed Ava to flirt with him. Nathan does not give him a direct answer, he just states that people are also programmed for certain types, orientations and preferences, which is due not to someone's actions, but to a combination of a number of factors. Then, after a long and impulsive speech about the importance of disabling logic at some points, Nathan admits that he hasn't programmed her to flirt. It's just her choice. In the fourth session, Caleb tells Ava that he's there to test her self-awareness. She says that it makes her feel sad, as she did not know about it. As usual, Nathan watches their dialogue. Another power failure occurs. Caleb asks Ava why she previously told him not to believe Nathan. Ava just repeats that not a word of Nathan's is to be believed. Caleb's worried, as he supposes that Nathan might be watching them during the power failures. But Ava calms him down by saying that she herself makes the power breaks, to disable the cameras and have the opportunity to communicate without being observed. Later, during a walk around the estate, Caleb accuses Nathan of a lie. He has made it out that the lottery was a fake, and Nathan purposefully chose Caleb for this experiment. Nathan confirms his idea. And he says that Caleb shouldn't take it hard, because he has been chosen as the best programmer in the company. Caleb begins to dream about Ava. Then he notices Nathan tearing up Ava's drawing. Caleb starts feeling compassion for her, as if she were a victim of abuse. He comes to Nathan's office to talk, but finds Kyoko there. He tries to find out from her where Nathan is. Not understanding a word, Kyoko begins to undress. Nathan enters the office. He looks like a boozy daddy with a bottle of beer. He turns on the music, and Kyoko goes about an incendiary dance. Caleb asks Nathan why he tore up Ava's drawing. But he stonewalls and starts dancing. In the 5th session, Ava offers to test Caleb instead. She wants to ask him some questions, to identify by his micro-expressions if he tells a lie. She asks him common questions and actually determines his lie. Then she asks a far-reaching question, that imposes a certain social role on him. She wants to know if he's a good person. Caleb gives a positive answer. Taking advantage of having him on her hook, Ava asks what will happen to her if she fails the test. Will she be destroyed if this is the case? Caleb really doesn't know the answer to the question.
Do you think I might be switched off because I don't function as well as I'm supposed to?
Ava, I don't know.
Do you have people who test you and might switch you off?
No, I don't.
Then why do I?
Then she shows him a drawing torn by Nathan. It is a portrait of Caleb. By doing so, she demonstrates that she has feelings for him too. Then another power failure happens. And Ava directly says that she wants to be with him. Then she asks the very last question of hers.
Do you want to be with me?
Talking to Nathan, Caleb discusses the need to create similar robots. The conversation smoothly moves on to considering new models that will appear after Ava. Nathan says she's just a transitional model, which will finally be deactivated. Caleb has ceased treating her like a machine. So, he is alarmed by the fact that his beloved one is going to be destroyed. Caleb makes up his mind to do something to prevent it. He gets Nathan drunk. When Nathan passes out, Caleb steals his badge, and goes to Nathan's office to watch archived records of how previous models were created. The most successful one required Nathan to release her, but after a nervous breakdown, she got self-destructed. Caleb enters Kyoko's room and discovers the bodies of different models in the closets. Kyoko shows him that she's not a human either. Impressed by what he has seen, Caleb begins to doubt his own humanity. He tries to find some skin adhesion on his body. Then he takes a razor and makes a deep incision on his arm. Blood spurts from the wound, and it comforts Caleb. In the 6th session, Ava states that she did not know what to do, as she waited for Caleb all evening, and thought about him all night through. She was afraid that she would not see him again. He drops her a hint implying to make a power failure. Then Ava provokes the blackout again. Caleb tells Ava that Nathan is going to destroy her after the experiment. Ava asks him to save her. He's already mapped a plan. He wants to get Nathan drunk and change the security protocols, so that when he wakes up, they'll be far from the mansion. Caleb asks Ava to make the power failure at 10 p.m. this evening. Nathan congratulates Caleb on the last day of the experiment, and says that a helicopter is due for him the next day. Caleb offers him a drink to celebrate it. By some coincidence or due to suspicion, Nathan doesn't want to keep Caleb company. He says he's had enough, and it's time to think of his health. Nathan wants to know if Ava has passed the test. Caleb is pretty sure she has. Nathan asks an important question, that makes Caleb hesitate, whether Ava really has sympathy for him, or whether it's just her plan to use Caleb to escape. Nathan admits that Caleb is on her hook, as he has seen the record of Caleb's cutting his hand. He says that he mounted an extra battery-powered camera, while they didn't see it. And that he knows about their escape plan. Nathan also reveals the true purpose of his experiment. He wanted Ava to learn how to manipulate to escape from this limbo by resorting to sexuality, pity, and guilt. This is the ultimate evidence of artificial intelligence. Caleb has been chosen not because of his capabilities. Through search queries, Nathan chose the most decent guy of all the employees. Then he created Ava's face based on Caleb's adult content preferences. The lights go out. Caleb confesses that he felt Nathan watch him and Ava during the power failures, so he has reprogrammed the doors while Nathan was drunk, and now they're all open when the power's off. The generator restarts and Nathan sees through the cameras that Ava has left her room. In anger, Nathan knocks Caleb out, takes hold of the bar from the dumbbell, and heads for Ava. Meanwhile, she reprograms Kyoko. Nathan commands her to go back to her room, but she attacks him. Nathan manages to thrash her. At that moment, Kyoko stabs him in the back with a knife. He kills Kyoko. Ava takes the knife out of his back and stabs him in the stomach. She takes his badge away. Caleb comes to his senses and sees Ava. He asks what has happened. In a cold voice, Ava says he will stay there. Ava puts on the skin from Kyoko's room, locks Caleb in the indestructible basement room, and leaves the house admiring the beauty of the outside world. She approaches a helicopter and flies off into the sunset. Caleb vainly tries to break the impenetrable glass of his new prison where he will spend his few remaining days. My friends, this movie is a perfect guide on how to manipulate a woman or a man, and how to avoid manipulation traps either. I do recommend watching the whole movie named Ex Machina. I hope you will support me with your likes. I've prepared other recaps for you. Just click these pictures to watch them. Well, hugs to everyone and see you soon.